Well, good morning, Dr.
Good morning.
Liao, and it's a pleasure to be interacting with you in this series of short interviews that we are doing for the Journal of Smart Cities and Society. And I'm very pleased that you have made time in your busy schedule and your usual busy work, and to share with us a bit of yourself, your views on the area, your vision for the area. So let's start by saying you're working in the School of Humanities and Social Science in the Chinese University of Hong Kong. A lovely place to be. I'm sure there are lots of exciting developments in there. I always read interesting things which are happening in your place. And I wonder whether you can describe a little bit your technical background for the audience.
Sure. Thank you, Juan. Thanks for inviting me to this, let's say, informal interview, introducing myself and my research, my views on the smart city. So I'm currently working as a assistant professor in COGK Shenzhen, the Chinese University of Hong Kong, Shenzhen. Yeah, as you mentioned, Shenzhen is a quite interesting city. It rised, let's say, in a sudden in 30 years, and now become the tech powerhouse of China. So Huawei is based in Shenzhen. I don't know if you know that. So the headquarters, Huawei, is in Shenzhen. So before coming back to China, I actually worked in Great Britain, in Oxford, Brookes, as a postdoc researcher, and I was working on ITS, Intelligent Transportation Systems, mainly focusing on smart parking and smart transportation and so on. And before coming to Oxford, I was a PhD student in Spain, Barcelona. I get my PhD degree from wireless networks from University of Pompeu Fabra, Universitat Pompeu Fabra in Barcelona. So this is my tech background.
Lovely places to be and to study. Yes, and so tell us a little bit more about your views on the current state of the art and smart cities. It's an area that is always evolving, but obviously there are so many challenges. There's always something else to do as well. But yeah, tell us on your appreciation of how things are.
I see this is a very, very challenging question. One, because this is a, let's say, huge area, smart city. We know it's a umbrella concept covering almost everything in the city, and we can have all the latest technology putting in to the city. So I would say currently we have around 700 smart city projects going on in China. Can you imagine that? Almost all, let's say, big cities have this kind of smart city initiative projects going on, and they have many, many different focus. I assume it's the same in other countries, in other cities. This city, let's say, have this focus, but other cities have different focus. So it's very, very difficult to summarize a, let's say, current state of art for smart city. But as I mentioned, we can say a big number of smart city projects going on is one of the trends. But let me mention the other trend. One is urbanization, okay? Everywhere, not only here in China, but also around the world. Why urbanization? It's linked to smart city. Why? Because urbanization is one of the big driver for smart city. Why? Because we have many, many people coming to the city. I think currently the number in China is 64% of Chinese people currently living in city. So more than 6 of 10 people living in the city. I think the world number is around 56. So a little bit actually lower than China. But for OECD countries, let's say developed countries, they have much higher urbanization rate compared with China. Let's say it's around 80% for, let's say, Great Britain, for United States, for Spain, and so on. So these OECD countries, they have higher urbanization rate, and we want to catch up here in China because urbanization is one of the big, let's say, engine for the economic development. So we want to catch up in this area, the urbanization rate, which means we have so many people coming to living in city. This brings big problem for city, right? Because more people living in the city, we have only limited resources in city. So we need new ways to address these new challenges. It's not possible we just, let's say, add more bridges, we add more roads, we add more schools, we add more hospitals. This is not the way. We want some new ways to address this new trend. So the good thing is we have the new development of the technology, let's say ICT, information communication technology. So this new digital and information technology can give us the new way to solve these old problems, which cannot be, let's say, tackled by adding more infrastructures. So smart city actually bring these two trends together. One trend is urbanization, the problem, the source of the problem. The other trend is the rise of ICT. So smart city bring these two together. So this, I would say this is my answer to the current state of the art of smart city, because you give me a very difficult question to answer. What is exact current state of smart city?
Yes, it's definitely complex. And I think that's one of the objectives of this series of interviews, to, as a community, collaborate to clarify a little bit the picture for ourselves and for everyone else as well. So in your own experience and from your own area of expertise and topic or specialization, what would you say are the main barriers for progress?
I think one of the big, let's say, barrier is the coexistence of old and new infrastructure. Because when we employ the new ways to tackle the old problem, we are going to introduce some new infrastructures, let's say telecommunication or some digital infrastructure. But this new infrastructure, they are going to, let's say, generate some new services. For example, Uber is actually one of the new services, okay? Not everyone is happy with Uber. Let's say taxi companies, they are not happy with Uber. But question one is how to address the coexistence between old and new services. So the question is it's the so-called network externality. So positive network externality means when this network grows, we have benefits. We have more benefits. Let's again take Uber for example. So more people are going to use Uber. So these applications are going to become more valuable. But the thing is, when you have, you can imagine that we have so many different new services. Uber is just one of it, okay? So when the service of Uber grows and other new innovative service grows, it's going to put a lot of burdens on the old infrastructure, let's say telecommunication infrastructure. But the benefits of these new rise innovative services benefits, or most of the benefits goes to the new service. So how to address this coexistence? So you new guys get the benefits, but to build the infrastructure on the burden of the old guys. So how to address this coexistence of old and new infrastructure I think it's one of the big challenges we need to think, let's say, this is not an old challenge. I think some other guys mention it from time to time, but I don't think it's have been addressed correctly. Number two, I think it's the Yes, Chris.
No, I was thinking that that's very much an old undergoing issue for humanity in general, to adapt to change, to, we get used very easy to specific ways of doing something. Changing to some other methodology or some other ways of doing things is a challenge, even if the new way is better. Just abandoning different, the old ways of doing something.
True. Actually, yes. I think the good thing is for citizens, for us, for users, we always experience the new and good services. But behind, there are some things going on, some, let's say, tasks or something need to be addressed by someone, but not users. Users are going to be happy with the new services.
Yeah.
Second one is the, I would say it's the sustainability of smart city, especially here in China. We have so many smart city projects going on, but most of the smart city projects here are quite technology centric. Okay, so we just taking all those available technology, let's say IoT, big data, 5G, blockchain, okay? As long as you have the new thing, we put it into the smart city project. It does not matter whether you need it at all, okay? So it gives us the, let's say, sustainability problem, okay? One thing is you didn't involve those real, let's say, stakeholders. For example, us citizens, we are one of the key stakeholders of the of the city development, of the new city services, but no one is going to ask our opinion, right? They just put everything. I think it's one of the, let's say, special problem here in China, technology-centric. I see some other countries, they have this kind of problem, but not as serious as here in China. The other one is also quite serious in China again. So it's, let's say, a top-down paradigm. Okay, so we have this kind of feature, let's say, higher level government, they set this kind of agenda, and let's say lower government just follow, and they do not think properly whether we need it at all. So I think these two, let's say, features of smart cities, let's say one is technology-centric, one is top-down paradigm, okay? Do not ask, let's say, stakeholders of the city to involve in the smart city. These two features of smart city is going to be a big challenge for the sustainability of smart city projects.
Another good point. Yes, I can see that it will take some time for governments and citizens to interact with each other and give feedback to each other and to reach some point of equilibrium where both of them feel that they are getting something from the new way of running the city, right?
Yeah.
I can understand the anxiety from the side of the governments or city officials in terms of feasibility as well. If they ask the citizens may come back with too many requests that they cannot satisfy, or I think it's a delicate balance, and hopefully with time there will be a compromise, let's say. Yeah, interesting. And so in this situation, what will you say will be the next priorities for people working in different sectors, ourselves as well as academics, the innovation sector, both public and private? This is such a complex ecology of a system with so many different actors. Some of them.
I think one of the priority we should address, I think we can actually combine your question. So challenge is the thing you need to address in the next stage, right? So challenge one is the coexistence you have to address in the next one. Another one is, let's say, coexistence. I mentioned coexistence, and what's the other one I mentioned? Sustainability. Okay, so of course we need to address these challenges in the next stage. But there's one more thing that is in my mind. The legal system is also important, right? Why is it important? Let's take a blockchain, for example. So it has the potential to be used by illegal activities. For example, let's say can be used in crypto coin by money laundering and tax evasion, right? So it has this kind of potential, but before we know that all the innovation always put the legal system behind. Okay, so before you have the proper legal systems, regulations, can we allow this kind of new technology to grow, right? So one of the, in my opinion, is that we should set up some special regulations for new technologies to allow it to grow up. Okay, do not kill it only because they can be used for potential illegal activities. So this is one of the things in my mind for, let's say, next step. I can transfer the two challenges to the two top priorities we should do. The other thing is legal system for smart city technologies.
Very good. Thank you very much for sharing your views, Dr. Liao. That was really very interesting. And I hope our audience will enjoy your opinions and will be able to follow up maybe with you personally some of these points. So
no problem. Thank you very much for invitation again.
Thank you.